Hello, everybody. Here's my cup of coffee for you all. Sipping on my cup of coffee. And it's early in the morning. So, anyway, it's exactly what I thought this would be. Anyway, good morning, everybody, on a Sunday. I don't know what time you actually watch this, but you get to see me in the morning drinking after a few cups of coffee. Anyway, of course, I need a cup of coffee already because I usually get 2 cups of coffee. One to get me going because there's no way I'd be able to get up to do this. And the other, of course, is to just do the rest, right? And so I always get my coffee caramel mocha. I like the flavor in it. I put a little bit 2% milk and honey. I put the honey in the cup because I stopped putting sugar in there. Anyway, so let's get to the point. The point is today is songs for Sundays, Sunday songs, whatever. If you like to post a comment on how you'd like me to write this, and that would be cool. So without ado, because I want to keep this somewhat short, because I only have a cup of coffee to drink, and after I'm done, probably just gonna say this. Anyway, so I was like, what do I talk about? Last night I was going through my mind. It's gonna be my first YouTube channel, like cup of coffee thing. It's like, what should I do? Should I explain music? What should I do? How should I go about doing this? I said, crap, let's just start at the beginning. Let's just start about where music came from in my life, right? What was inspiring me? What has inspired me to this day? Because my music preferences have changed. Obviously, I didn't know what the coolest songs were. Yeah, as a child, you just listen, your ears are different. And sometimes, and there's various reasons why this top 25 list. I had actually, with my first cup of coffee waking up, I had to write this down. It's changed. The list has kind of changed. Trying to make a top 25 now. The number one, number two, these are the songs I remember getting really excited about, either family singing or I was singing it, or it was just like, oh, the radio is playing it, whatever. This is from 1976. Now, there's if it's 1976, chances are, or less than that, chances are that's my parents singing me music, because chances are I don't really, I just know that my parents used to sing me some songs. But and the later it goes, it's probably stuff I heard on the radio. So as we used to drive the car around. So let's, without ado, let's get to song number 25. I written down, and that is "Sailing." This song, "Sailing," was not my mom's favorite song. My daddy, remember my parents at this point in time when "Sailing" came out, they were divorced. All I remember about the quote unquote "Sailing" song, this is music. It came on the radio quite a bit. It was by Christopher Cross. It was a nice song. For me, it was an anxiety ridden song, but I liked it too because my dad liked it, I guess. But what I remember is being lost in the grocery store. I don't know how many times as a child, 7, 6 years, whatever you go running in a grocery store, whatever it might be. And this was in Dover Air Force Base, back where I used to live. And there's a commissary. My mom used to shop there because the food was cheap. And I would literally get lost, and I could not find my mother in the shopping store because she was so in her own world, um, that I would get lost, and they'd have to call my mom. But I used to wait. I used to hide because I thought I'd get in big trouble for it. I used to get in big trouble if I were to have the name, and so I remember hiding behind watermelons or something. It was like fruit, and this song "Sailing" came on. And I just remember this day being in so much trouble. And I was so worried about what was going to happen to me during the whole song. So the song stuck in my head as like a warning. I'm sailing into trouble. it's, it's not what the song is about, but as a child, you can imagine sailing, take me away to where I'm going. I don't know. That was funny. I remember that song though, specifically as a child. I remember hearing it with anticipation. The next song, number 24 on our list, is a song, Love on the Rocks by Neil Diamond. And to give homage to where this came from, uh, let me tell you, my grandparents, my grandmother and grandfather, they used to have, and this is going to come, I think there might be another song like this, I'm not sure. But they used to have the old 8-track, the whatever machine where you put the thing inside the machine. So this was when I was 5 or 6 or something like that. And they'd have a couple of them. They had a few of them. And anyway, there was a couple songs on the CD. It was The Jazz Singer by Neil Diamond. And I know my grandmother's favorite song was Acapulco, and there was because she used to visit Acapulco, so she used to love that song. But America's on this. It's a good soundtrack. The movies. I finally watched the movie. It was so disappointing, but it was a good movie in the same way. But it don't expect anything. So the song called "Love on the Rocks." Yeah, you gotta understand. By then, I missed my dad a lot. Um, and this song kind of pulled me into what I was feeling. And it's funny as a kid, how I would. This must have been later when I was a child, 6 or 7. I mean, could be. The Jazz Singer came out, I think, in 1980. So, um, yeah, this definitely was a very, if you listen to it, it's a very heartfelt song. To this day, I love it. I love playing on my piano and stuff. It kind of feels, I mean, it's a relationship song, but for me, it was my relationship with my father. So I immediately think of my father, but I also think of my grandma and grandfather with the 8-track, putting it in. The other song is a number 23. Okay, so this is a happier note song. So the last two songs become stories, and that is I've been working my way back to you, and I'm not sure like which one because several artists did this, but I know two of them did this. I think it was it Delphonics, or no, it wasn't Delphonics. It might have been the Rascals or something like that. I think it was the Rascals. And then there was the Spinners. And I think the one that I heard was the Spinners, because this would have been 1979, 1980, around 78, around that time. And this song would have still played. They still played songs. That songs would stick around the charts for quite a while. And no, they'd play they'd play their top 20 or whatever it is like that, and then these songs would come on, and that was definitely a song that came on certain radio stations. And I remember, yeah, because it's one of you, babe. So it's definitely Spinners. I remember the song used to come on. My mom and my stepdad and my, really liked it. My father, I don't know if I don't really have memories of him. But I remember coming this on, and I remember singing it, because it had a catchy line. I've been working way back to you, babe. I had no idea what I was saying, but it just seemed fun. It was a fun song. And as a child, I mean, these songs changed. That would not be on my top 25 as an adult, but there you go. 22 is it's incredible. I guess at this time, Christopher Cross was writing some good songs, right? So this song would come on the radio either when I was in the commissary, again, with my mom, or whether we're driving home. But she used to turn it up. She used to like this song. She did not like the Sailing song. I think she thought it was two different artists. It sounds like two different artists. I know my mom used to like Steely Dan, and I do know that on this on this album, uh, Ed McDonald from the Doobie Brothers and from Steely Dan, he was a backup singer. He was on this, and this song is called "Ride Like the Wind," number 22. And the song it's kind of got that "Ride Like the Wind." It's neat. It's got like a cowboy, like a western feel to it. It's got like a. My mom used to like car songs. Like I'm guessing that was a car song. I don't know if we're heading to see my grandparents or going on some trip or something, but Ride Like the Wind, that's what I kind of remember. Ride Like the Wind, you're riding into the wind. Um, so not much on that, but just it was catchy. 21. And I guess this is why it's on the 20s. Um, this is interesting. So there are certain songs that come out and you wouldn't think they're like B-sides, or you wouldn't think this would be the song. But I remember actually, see, that's the thing. I had very few. I had a tape deck when I was like 8, okay, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I got this is at the very end. This would have been 1984. So I did save from 85. So this is about the time where I had my own little tape deck. I had my own little record player at this point in time too, but it always got broke. So my tapes, I had tapes. And one of these tapes that my aunt gave me for my birthday or Christmas, I forgot. It had a bunch of Huey Lewis in the News, and amongst other things. I'll tell you that later. But this had the Huey Lewis in the News album. The I forgot what it's Sports, I think is the name of it. And this is the same one. You would think that the one that I would have liked as a child, it was there was a couple that came out during this period. I really had to think about what song stood me out on this, because I forgot what was the number one song from this album was DC, San Antonio, and the Liberty Town. All this, God, everywhere there's music, real life music. They mess with a lot of style. And the hard rock and roll. The hard rock and see, I haven't. I'm doing this ad hoc, right? So I don't write this down. I'm just thinking top of my coffee. But the hard rock and roll, is the number one song in this album. It's the first song in this album. It was the first hit of this album. And I didn't, after having tape, I didn't, the song was okay. I was looking for something different. And there was really, this tape I would play a lot. And for my dad liked, I was walking on a thin line, but my dad liked the other song, This Is It. Ooh, please let me know. But that wasn't my favorite song either, although I enjoyed listening to my dad sing it. The song I liked is Heart and Soul. Da 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 da. Yeah, of all the songs, it just had 9 o'clock this morning. Yeah, I had no idea what that meant, but it was the second song on that, and I just remember liking that song. So we move up to number 20. So this is my top 20. This is a song that, as I remember, in 1883, 82, 81, 82, 83. This was an earworm song. And the reason I drop it to 20 is I don't think I liked it as much as I just zoned out on it. This song was stuck in my head, and there's a lot of sadness a lot of loss, a lot of anger. This song had everything in it for me. I could identify with this song and in ways I could not identify with anything else. And it was Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. And pretty sad to say that, some song I identified as so sad. And this song is it's talking about numbing. That's where I was, building walls, yes, at that tender age of 6, 7, 8 years old. I already had a wall around me. And this song came out in 1980, 81. So, by the time I got this, probably 82 is when I started to get it. I got the tape, that same tape with Huey Lewis. The first couple songs, of course, my aunt wanted to give me songs I liked, and I asked for it, and Comfortably Numb, and I think Hey You, and Waiting for the Worms. She put Waiting for the Worms in there. I was like, I wanted the first side. I really didn't care for that one. But Comfortably Numb, just to have that, just to play it over and over again. I finally got the tape to the wall. Somebody recorded on me. They used to have tapes, the blank tapes you put in on one side of the recorder. You put another tape, and by the time I was 7, 8 years old, I could figure this out. And you hit record, play, and it would, sound wasn't that great, but hell, I mean, for somebody, it was cool, So that song is an earworm song. And I highly recommend anybody looking into that song if you don't know which song I'm talking about. Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. Well written. In fact, it's one of the top 10 songs of all time. So there you go. All right, number 19. This is a song. Again, you hear songs on the radio, and this is funny. Okay. This is really funny. Um, this song, I remember this is my mother. She used to go on these trips, so that, all over the place, like for yard sales and everything. And the last thing, I was 5 at the time. And the last thing a 5-year-old wants to do is go into a car in the hot, or whether it was cold or hot. And I used to have to sit out in the car because my mom didn't want me running around all over the place. And by the time we got to this place, it was either really early in the morning, but what I'm remembering, this was in the middle of the day. It was hot. We had been all morning long going to and this song came out, Babe, You Babe, by the Styx. Because it's you, babe, giving me the courage and the strength I need. And if I had known what the words meant, maybe not. But my mom hated the song. She used to say, because she used to leave the radio on sometimes in the car if she's on. Anytime the song came on, it was my mom used to turn the darn thing off. She did not like that song, and so I loved it because I was angry and I heard this song. It was my mom hates this song. I love it. It's like, and it was a top 10 song in the radio. I mean, it's a beautiful, really song, but she used to go, ew, I hate that. It's a beautiful song. I play it on the piano. It's still to this day. The rebel song in me, I guess. I don't know. And we go to 18. You get attached to songs that you hear. This wasn't the first song I could think about. This group had great songs, many songs. But I remember my mom used to have this, and my dad used to have this. Is one of the rare occasions where my mom and dad shared the same album, and they used to play this sometimes. And I would request sometimes to play side 2. Side 1 was very good. This is by the Cars. It was the Candy-O album, not the Candy-O, but the one with the lady with the steering wheel. It was their first album, I think. And yeah. And this one had Let the Good Times Roll and Best Friend's Girl and Just What I Needed, all on side 1. But side 2 was the interlink side where all the songs would come together. And it was really neat because it had You're Alive, Got Tonight, and Bye Bye Love. And then it went into this song. And I remember I had a brother. And me and my brother, like, he was little, like, my brother was like 2 years younger than me. So at this point in time, this is really early in our life. So he must have been 4. But it's the don't, 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 did, 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 and it's Moving in Stereo. Pretty good song. Anyway, you gotta hear it. It's by the Cars. You'll see why. And again, these kind of songs that had little earworms in it, or song brings back good memories. The next one at 17 is something my dad used to sing to me in the car. My dad used to have this when he used to sing to me, because I remember I didn't get to see my dad very often because my mom hated my dad. So at that point in time, it was like there was a lot of tension and friction there. But it's You Decorated My Life by Kenny Rogers. It was a pretty intense song. I can't, you're going to have to look it up and listen to it yourself, but he used to sing it to me. That's why it's on this list. And then we go to 16. And here's my stepdad. He enters the picture when I'm 5 or 6 years old. And then he gets his tape. And I heard it on the radio, I guess, but he had played it on the tape, and it was this neat song. And this is on the first side, last side of Joe Jackson, Night and Day. And the name of the song is Stepping Out. And it was really a catchy song. Be there, stepping out into your love. And so I had to hear this all the time. So I used to always look forward to this song coming on because it had a real drive to it. When my dad said that I used to play this all the time, I was like pleading for it to come on. And then number 15. Oh, this is another A track from my grandpa and grandfather, probably my aunt or something used to have this, got this A track. Or it might have been an album because they had an album on top of it. So it might have been record. I'm not sure what it was. But it was a very good song. It's from Queen. And it was We Will Rock You. And then it led into We Are the Champions. I thought it was just one whole song that was like divided, but it's actually two songs. But for me, I always thought of it as one complete song because one song can't go without the other. Wouldn't make any sense. But I remember listening to that, and it was really cool because it had a neat beat to it. And with all the other stuff they used to play, and that wasn't boring. Okay, then the next song up is a song that, God, man, 1982 came around. Anytime we'd shop at Boscov's, I remember there was a place called Boscov's. It used to be this. They had, it was like a mini Walmart back in the day, but it didn't have food. And it had clothes, it had albums. It was like a big store. And the one thing that they used to have these videos. So we used to go because my parents shopped there. We used to immediately go for those pillars that had little TVs, and they had their top 10. And they used to play sing videos. But one of the videos that we liked was Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical, physical. You want to get physical. That was back in Ronald Reagan's Let's Get Back. Anyway, so that came on. Got good memories of that because at least we got to do something in the store when we went shopping. 13 is another song that came on the radio quite a bit in the beginning, and my stepdad picked up on it. So again, this is a song he had on a little tape. I ended up getting a tape because I actually liked this whole tape back and forth. To this day, I have the album. I still listen to it. And this was probably when I was 8 or 9. Men at Work, Overkill. This is not The Land Down Under. This is not, they had so many other hits. But this was a hit by Colin Hay. He sing for them. And Overkill's the name of the song. Day after day, we appeared. And again, a very catchy song. But it was one of the songs that really stood out with the album. And at number 12, again, I'm going to say how powerful it is when your dad sings you a song and it stays with you forever. And he used to sing this to me when I was going to go to sleep, whatever his name is, and the name of the song. And all you probably know it is Beatles, Yesterday. Very soft song. You probably know what I'm saying. And it's number 11 here as we just go forward. And as I go up there, I don't need to explain it so much because you'll kind of know why. This song came on the radio, and my mom used to play it pretty high. It was my mother when she used to go shopping, whatever it might be, wherever we were going. And we used to love it. It's The Long Way Home by Supertramp. I guess because it was a long way home. We I mean, that makes sense. Now, if we're going shopping, going everywhere, it's like The Long Way Home. 10, this song came, I guess, again, another brick in the wall. It came out in 1980, 81, and it got along with, Comfortably Numb. This was, a hit that I remember my brother, we used to go on Turnpike, and I put this in, and we did a recording of us singing it, and my little brother would go, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so it's kind of cool. And number 9 is a song that came out in when I was living in the greenhouse. I'm trying to remember, that was the 3rd, 4th grade, and we were heading to heading out there in the Amish country. Anyway, this was Amish. Just reminded me of Amish. We were driving either somewhere, I don't know where we're driving, and this song came out. And I remember I actually got the album. It was the Four for Foreigner. It was like the movie album, and it had Urgent on it. But it also had this song called "I've Been Waiting for a Girl Like You." And I think to that day, we had never heard a rock star sound had so much soul in his voice. And to this day, I don't think anybody could sing that song. Very hard song to sing, but it's I've Been Waiting for a Girl Like You. And the next song up is a song that came on. Um, and I didn't know. I tended to think it was a different song. This is Babysitters back when I was 3 or 4 years old, whatever. And there would be this album that used to come on. It was by Billy Joel. It was 52nd Street. And I remember she used to have it. And the babysitter used to love this. And she used to play it, I guess, because it was hip. It was Billy Joel at the time was making it pretty big. And the name of the song is My Life. I guess I like this song, but I think Honesty is the one she used to always play. For some reason, she used to like that song too, and I used to identify it. But I think overall, I think My Life, I like that one too. So I couldn't decide which one was which. Seven. This came from another album my mom used to have by Electric Light Orchestra. It was an album that they had this big gold thing on, so that it was catchy to the eye when my mom used to play it because she had a lot of records. She used to put this record on, and it was Electric Light Orchestra, which is weird that these are like upcoming artists, whatever, and they were already there for a long period of time. I thought this was a brand new song, like first song wasn't, but it was "Don't Let Me Down." Don't let me down. Do, 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 do. Again, a very catchy song. Don't let me down, Bruce. And then the very end, don't let me down. It's like it had catchiness. You could tell why, a child's ears, whatever, likes that catchy stuff. Not my favorite song anymore, obviously. Another catchy song, another song that came out, and it was a wow song. 1981, 82. My mom had the album, but we used to listen to this. It went on the radio quite a bit. It was played a lot. It was 1981, 80, 81 when this came out, 82. They're still probably playing this song for a long time. It was Rapture by Blondie. And I didn't know anything about Blondie at the time. I really didn't know it was her. There was a couple songs I may have heard on the radio, but this song stood out because she used to rap, and the rap was fun. I didn't have any idea what it meant, but it go out at night, eat at bars where the people meet face to face, toe to toe, wall to wall. Then there's no more cars. You go out at night, eat at bars where the people meet. It's just you gotta look that up. Listen to the song. It starts out Rapture starts out like a song, but we used to always. Now I like the beginning of the song more than I like that part because that part really is just. It was rap. It was different. Anyway, we never heard rap before. This is before rap became big. And the next, we're at the top five. I'll try to wrap this up because we're going on time here. 5 came out because this is a big hit that came out in the radio. Rosanna. Believe it or not, everybody hates the song now, but back then everybody loved it. And I don't care what anybody say. It was a top 5 song on the radio. It's played all the time. It was a hit. It was an earworm. Everybody loved Rosanna. You can look it up. It's by Toto. Probably the best percussion person to ever. He did Africa as well on that album. This was a band. You can look at the story. Number 4 was a song that, okay, this has a little bit, here's my coffee going off right now. So let me get in a cup of coffee here. So number 4 is my mom used to have the 45s, these little single albums, and we have a record player. I remember tearing her record player apart, skipping, trying to get to this song, and there'd be hundreds of these singles, right? These little vinyls, and you have to play it really fast. It was a 45 speed. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. But the one song we were looking for is I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I hear the music and the sun. Steve Miller Band. We used to like my brother and me. What? Woo! So we were little kids. I mean, I must have been 4 years old. My brother was 3. So, I wanted to hear that. What? Woo! And whatever. Anyway, that was the Joker. So that's why. But it was buried. It was nothing I heard on the radio. Maybe they played it on radio, but it was a record. These next 3 songs are definitely radio songs, so we can go on them pretty quickly, and you can look it up. There's really no backstory. Well, there's one. Then number 3. Number 3 is "Kiss" on my list, and man, I tell you, "Kiss," because your kiss is on my list. This is a song that a child can sing. They don't know. I have any idea what exactly the song's talking about, but it came on our way to visiting Aunt Connie, and she lived in New Jersey at the time. So this was a travel, and I remember getting there, and it was because your kiss, your kiss. They used to play this song all the time. Daryl Hall Notes. Because your kiss is on my list. This song, on the radio quite a bit. So you'd heard it, and we used to love it. I guess my mom, after a while, didn't. Number 2, talk about MTV. This is before MTV. This is around the time MTV. Well, we started getting acquainted with it because we didn't have cable. So if you had MTV, you had cable. We didn't have cable at the time. We had that little turn dial that they had on the UHF. And this was "Money for Nothing" by Dire Straits. These used to come on a lot during the radio, especially at night. I want my MTV, Money for Nothing. And, it's Dire Straits. They've had a lot of good songs. My mom used to love Dire Straits. And they actually bought the album years later. And I guess they didn't really like the whole album. They didn't get it. But that song was pretty big. And lastly, the number 1 song. Fun song, by the way. And then we're done because my coffee is almost done. Let me drink this up. So get ready. The number 1 song used to come on the radio. 1981. A band I've already mentioned before. If anybody remember, I'll give you a clue. It was an 8-track or a record player, if you remember. But this song used to start out do 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 do. It was so cool when it came on the radio. Oh my God. It was like everybody would say, yeah. It was, these songs weren't, nobody's done anything like this before. And this song would come out, and it just came right out. Another one, "Bites the Dust" by Queen. Not something you think would be number 1, but I really remember liking it. I really remember everybody in the car liking it. We used to sing. Another one, "Bites the Dust." Do, 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 do. Say it's simple and it's got the beat, and everybody knows when to say it. Another one, "Bites the Dust." And so that becomes fun. And those are fun songs to hear on the radio. Anyway, there was a lot of other songs on the radio. Probably everybody who watches this probably has a number 1 or 10. If you've listened to this video and you've identified with this topic, now it's going to be different every week, but please put your top 10 or top 5 or so songs that you in your first 10 years of life. Think about maybe what those songs were and why, but you don't have to really tell me why. Maybe there's one song you want to tell me briefly why that's your number 1, or maybe there's one song on that list that you specifically have a tied memory to. Whatever it is, it probably is way different than mine. Please put the years. If I want to know your age, just give me the time frame. Your first 10 years. Anyway, so that's. I'd like to see people's comments on this. I don't know if I'll see it in years to come. I don't know whenever, but at least mine are out there. So whoever gets this has a gold mine. They have my favorite 10 top 25 songs there. Anyway, cup of coffee to y'all. I hope y'all finish your coffee within 35 minutes, 30 minutes. I try to keep these videos at 30 minutes, but I came up with the top 25, and I really enjoyed talking to you about this music. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me.